So just so you know, I am now recording. So just yeah, but yeah.
Oh yeah, by the way, yeah, before we actually start for real, how family friendly is this? Like okay with swearing or
oh
not?
yeah, totally
like,
okay with swearing.
Okay.
So yeah, don't you know, don't stress your language at all. We know how Hakita is, and Hakita was being Hakita, so you know.
a rude boy.
So yeah, don't worry about it at all.
Okay, cool. Well,
all right.
Yeah. Feel free to start.
Yeah. So we are here with Francis. Francis. God damn it! Good start.
Don't worry about it. Yeah.
We're here with Jericho. One of the artists for ULTRAKILL.
Dude, just restart the thing.
I know. Just restart. Just restart.
Yeah.
But so yeah, let's just get right into this. You know, most people unfortunately only really know that Hakita works on the game, and then some people just think that New Blood works on the game. So we're here to kind of spread the word of all the people that are actually putting the work in for ULTRAKILL. But yeah. So Jericho, how are you involved in ULTRAKILL development, and what do you do?
Well, first of all, thanks for inviting me here and doing this event, because
of course.
You know, charity is good. So well, what I do for ULTRAKILL is kind of a little bit of everything. I'm a 2D artist, and I guess like the biggest thing that I usually do is concept art. So that can be characters, weapons, and like I did the hands, or like the V1 arms, and like other objects. I did the Steam promo illustration and the act ending screens. Did the visual novel segment, and then I also like started to get involved with level textures, starting from the Lust layer. So that was like Cybergrind textures, and then all of the levels from there on out.
All right, cool. So quite a bit in terms of art. You're kind of all over the place. That's awesome. Yeah. How long have you been working with everyone?
So I initially started work on ULTRAKILL in June 2019, and it was like a completely different team back then. Well, like almost, because it was Hakita, Imp, and a couple of other 3D guys. And the way I got involved is basically I was like frequenting facepunch.com, now defunct, or it could be like Knockout at this point. I don't remember. And Hakita was like he just posted the kind of video demo of like the game he's working on, and I thought, you know, it looked really awesome. And I made a post saying, hey, do you like need any help with 2D art? And he actually answered that he already has a 2D artist on the team. That was Imp. And but he also said that, you know, he could use like, I don't know, like promos or like fan arts. And so I just kind of got into contact with him. And actually, like legit, the first thing that I did was the V1 design. I don't really remember how that came to be, but
but it kind of just did.
Yeah. And I guess I could like expand a bit and talk about how I started with like art in general, and just so that people kind of get a better context.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I think I started doing art at like around 2012, something like that, and like the kickstart for that was actually two things. It was I was like big into Dota 2 at that point, and they set up like workshop support for that, and I was like wild for that. I really wanted to design a set, and you know, but like my skills were really bad, and you know, I started learning. I bought like a tablet. I didn't draw much like before that, or like got like heavily into that.
Yeah.
And also Unreal Tournament 4 was like starting or like doing development. I guess it was like kind of active at that point. And if you remember well, what Epic Games did is that they said like, hey, we need like the community's help. We just, you know, everyone work on this, and like we're just gonna put it into the game. And so people did a bunch of concepts, and I was one of them. My concepts were like obviously like super terrible. They were like MS Paint tier, and you know, so I didn't really have much skill, but I kept on going, and eventually like the Dota 2 workshop, it just kind of it's like super saturated at this point. Like, you know, there's, because of how much money it makes, there's like so many professional artists, there's like whole teams doing these sets, and like fighting for a chance to get in, so that like even now, like I wish I could do something there, but it feels like impenetrable to get into. And speaking of Face Punch, you know, I was there, and I saw that there was a TF2 Workshop thread as well, and you know, in there, people were really just posting like kind of napkin sketches almost. It was like very basic stuff, but like the idea was there, and I thought like, hey, I could give this a shot, because, you know, like I draw pretty much as well as these guys. And so I did a bunch of concepts, and, you know, people liked them, but I feel like with TF2, it's like, it's pretty difficult to kind of get a good idea, because for Dota, or like for any game really that's not like based on reality too much, you can get away with like nonsensical designs and like these like crazy shapes and whatnot. But with TF2, it's like, you know, you need to have this hat from this certain time period, and like if you do something modern or like too crazy, it just doesn't fit, and eventually like you just run out of ideas for that. So I kind of, you know, stopped doing that. But I did manage to get two things in the workshop that I'm super proud of. It was like a TF2 spy revolver, and what was it? It was like a taser, because Gadget, the 3D guy who modeled it was like, it was the first time I saw someone do like a 3D model of a concept that I made, and I was like completely blown away by that. It was just like an incredible experience. I'm still proud of that.
That's awesome.
It's probably not going to get into the game, obviously, because it's a weapon, and it's been such a long time ago, but I still get comments on that workshop page every now and then.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. So yeah, and you know, eventually like I was just kind of, it was like a very on and off art journey, and especially like at the start, because you get kind of frustrated with a lot of the art you're making, and I feel like no matter just how much motivation you have, all of these like thoughts and like the theory and the progress is always slow. It always has to kind of like click in your head, and I was doing like a lot of art studies, you know, like self-taught, and you know, game fan art, and, you know, just kind of doing art on and off, no real work. And eventually, like somewhere around 2019, all of the kind of art fundamentals, they kind of formed in my subconsciousness, and like I felt pretty confident that like this is the time that, you know, I need actual experience. And so, you know, when I started working on ULTRAKILL, it was like, okay, so I work on your game, and you know, there was like no real talk of money, which is like a big tangent that I can go off on, because you know, it's like a lot of people like look into paying jobs, and I understand that, you know, it's like a giant concern for a lot of people, and I'm lucky that I didn't have to at the time. But basically, you know, like my agreement with Hakita was that, you know, like if the game makes money, I'll get paid. But, you know, when you're working for free for someone, I was like getting experience of this like game dev kind of thing, and, you know, just like being involved in the process, because like I can't design something without context, like something for myself, like for an imaginary game, like I need something real to work with. And basically it was like a lot of experience that I got, and also it like the fact that you're not getting paid for this, and it's like kind of, it gives you like I wouldn't say the upper hand, but it's like, you know, if you do bad work, or if you like just don't even show up at all, if you like just decide to leave, give up, there's like no bad feelings, because you know you were doing this for free anyway, kind of, right? So it, like, actually, you know, I'm a big advocate of I wouldn't say working for free, but like if you know, if you want to start out, then like that's a just make stuff and get yourself out there. I guess that's the message that I'm trying to send. Like don't focus on like getting this like beginner position job, I guess. I guess.
And I think there's a big difference between, you know, a company having someone work for them for free, like for an internship, and then working for free with just some random person that is also making a game.
I guess, yeah. And you know, with Hikita, because like this is kind of like, it's very like direct between like me and him. There's no like kind of company middling or like anything really, you know, like he gets an idea and like we kind of, it's like a balance, like a back and forth kind of,
a lot more personal.
Yeah, and you know, we can just say like, okay, this sucks, but this is like really good. Like you don't have to be kind of I don't know, I guess you can just be like more honest and just like a real person with everyone.
There's no like real power dynamics at play that you have to worry about. It's just like, oh yeah, I don't like this, I do like this.
I feel like there is a power dynamic, because Hikita gets the final say on everything. It's like it's his game that he's making, so it's like I may think some idea is cool, but like if he thinks it sucks and it like, or like he never says that obviously, but like it just doesn't fit the vision of the game, then like you know, obviously like we go that direction.
All right. Well, let's move on to the next question here. And you know, you talked a little bit about it already, and just how much you enjoyed doing art and everything. But do you have any other hobbies outside of art?
Yeah. So I guess I can talk about what I used to be into for hobbies and like what I'm doing right now a lot. Spoiler, it's like just a lot of drawing, but. Basically, you know, like years ago, or like even like very on and off at this point, you know, I like to paint the Warhammer miniatures. Like I'm not really into Warhammer, really. I try to get into, but I don't know, like the problem that I have with it is that I can't stick to any faction in fantasy or like 40k, because like they're all like either equally all cool, or they kind of like suck at the same time. Like I can't like find good like evil alignment with these guys, like because they're all evil, obviously they're all like assholes, but I just don't know, you know, which faction I would side with, and like who I visually prefer. It's tough. So I just have like a bunch of miniatures that I haven't painted yet. And you know, I have no idea when I'm gonna get to that, because it's like I do that like once a year maybe when I have time. I say that, but like I obviously have like a ton of time, but you know, never get to that. Used to speedrun Quake 1. That was like a couple of years ago, I think, like 2 or 3. Did that for quite a while. I think you can find my shitty RTA run on the leaderboards of speedrun.com, and you can like marvel at how bad I am. Yeah, so I guess that's it. I've picked up guitar recently, but it's already like gathering dust for a week, because like I don't know, I just can't really find a good time to just sit back and relax. So
yeah, I think everyone has been having a hard time relaxing the past couple years.
yeah, I suppose it's like, I don't know. It's the same. Like I always think a bit about it, like reading books, because reading books for me, it's like the most slowest thing ever.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's the idea of reading a book that is like, it kills me inside, because like you pick it up and then like you read like 2 pages and it's like 3 hours gone. And so and I'm like, I'm not getting much out of this. I could be working, I could be like playing games, I could be hanging out with my friends. And so like what actually happens is that you do waste time kind of like working and like not really being creatively fulfilled by the media, because like it's been a while since I've watched a movie or like a show or anything. Like I just don't feel like it really. I always feel like I could be doing something else,
Yeah.
So yeah, and recently, like starting, like I guess the last 2 months, it was just basically me doing a ton of drawing, and it never used to be like that. But then I got into contact with Francis, and we talked a lot about art, and he's been helping me a lot with this. And I kind of got over that hunch where I used to be not able to work do art for like more than 4 hours a day or something like that. It would just be like 4 hours of focus, and I'm like, I'm spent, I can't do anything, I just can't. And now it feels like I've got this power where I can just, like, I've been almost daily, doing like drawing or painting for like 8 hours, and I don't feel exhausted by that at all. So I feel like Francis like really injected me with, something.
Yeah.
It was it's like pure magic, because I don't know what it is, but it's like I just kind of got over that hunch where I can just like, I can do multiple paintings during the day. And like all of the other things that I would do usually, like to procrastinate, like watch streams, watch videos, play games, they suddenly became like almost, it's like too much effort to spend time on those. Like even launching like Apex or something like that, which is like my time waster game, I guess.
Yeah.
You like launch it and then you're like, man, I have to like try, and I have to like shoot people and like
so
I have to like
effort.
cooperate. Yeah, and it's like I sometimes there's days like you launch something for 30 minutes and you're like, I'm spent, I can't play anymore. Like my brain power is just gone. Yeah, so it really do be like that. So
yeah, well, it sounds like you've been popping off with art, which is fantastic. I'm glad that spark's kind of there right now for you.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people have a hard time finding that.
Yeah, well, I mean, after how many years? 9? It's about time. So, but yeah, it's more of like motivation to just kind of, I don't know, like work out some of the problems that I've been having recently with like my artwork, like with the process, like a lot of the technical things that, because when you're self-taught, it's like there are so many kind of hidden things that can screw you over. And like your foundation is always like kind of wacky. So, during 1 or 2 days, you can draw something very well. Your confidence goes like really up and you feel like you can do pretty much anything. And then like you take a day off, and then the next day you start to draw something and it looks worse than you could have like even imagined. And that like plummets your confidence completely.
Yeah.
So basically, like, I'm just trying to kind of, work it into my head to kind of be at least somewhat consistent, like to, kind of have something that I like. That's pretty much it. I guess the other hobby I can talk about, like you can have me talk about like a very limited selection of topics. So I can talk about, art a lot. I can talk about Quake Duels, or I can talk about like Persona DMC. I can recite the Mandalore's Mystery of the Druids video like word by word. What else? Yeah, Apex, I guess. That's like a fun game that I've been playing recently. But yeah, you know, if anyone has like any takeaway from this interview, it's like, please, like, give it a chance and like try to just understand duels in Quake, like Quake Live, Quake Champions, like stuff like that. Because I think, like, when you understand what the fuck is going on in the duels there, it's like the battles of masterminds with the shit that they have to juggle like in their minds.
There's a lot.
Yeah, like all of the timings, all of the possibilities, you constantly have to like keep tracking. Like they're tracking like 4 timers of like three armor spawns and like 1 mega health. And so like they try to deny it to each other, and like it's just always like a wonderful experience to like watch these masterminds like go off in this. And I really wish, you know, Quake Duels would be way more popular, but you know, it's like this niche thing that I really want people to get into. That's pretty much it.
I can second that as well. I got into Quake Champions pretty heavily a while ago, and oh man, I love duels. I actually played a lot of Shift. I really liked the fucking dash. It's so fast. And you can just get such obscene speed out of nothing so easily.
Yeah. I don't know, like QC, it's like a very long story of its development and like where it is right now. But like if they ever got, they did get like a lot of things right, but like Slash in that game, it's like she's perfect. The crouch slide, it's like I don't even need enemies in that game. Like you can just slide on levels. It's so perfect. Like I don't know, like I can't put it into words. Like everyone just has to kind of experience that. And I really wish that you know, more kind of this movement based like less aim and like more movement in PvP. I think that would be a nice direction for games to take. Yeah, unfortunately that's never been the, well, was it popular, the most popular part at one point, but definitely not anymore, unfortunately. Yeah, because I also love movement in shooters so much. But yeah, hence why I love ULTRAKILL. The best thing about Quake and like arena FPS games is that, you know, like average Joe might say, oh, you know, it's a fucking dead game. It's like 100 players daily, etc. But it has like 100 players all the time. Yeah, and it's like the people who like play this, they don't play anything else, they just play Quake. And it's so like the community is so dedicated to that game because like nothing else really offers you that kind of experience. Yeah, it's so a very unique like game. A blessing and a curse, I guess. Yeah, it really is. Yeah. All right, so yeah, let's move on here. Sure. Yeah. I feel like I've said everything I could. Yeah. No, that was fantastic. That was great. Learning a lot. Any community interactions you've really enjoyed? Well, I guess to answer your question, like I think the best interactions I've had with people, it's like when people DM me on Twitter or like maybe Discord sometimes, and I've had like a couple of messages that were basically like, it's just a person saying, hey man, your art inspired me to draw something today, thanks, bye. And I always like think like people really took it out of their day, like you know, a couple of minutes to just go to my page, to write me these words and like just say, you know, thanks and bye. Like they didn't need anything from me, they just like expressed thanks. And I guess that's that feels very good to kind of feel like I had like the work that I've done, it like had some effect on other people. But you know, I guess everyone in the community has been super nice to me all the time. It's like kind of crazy, and I never take it for granted, but like legit every encounter with anyone in the community, it's like people just say nothing but nice things all the time.
Yeah.
Never argued with anyone, but you know, I can't say that I really interact with the community much because you know, I don't really feel like putting myself out there, you know, even sometimes like posting my artwork on Twitter, it like feels okay, but I like think whether I should post this or not a lot. But like on Discords, even like posting your artwork, it's like, I don't know, like I can't do it because it feels like an ad almost, you know. It's like asking for attention, you know.
Yeah,
same with,
I know how you feel.
Yeah, same with like making less effort with the posts. So like if I make some art, like, you know, I just consider, you know, if people are interested, they can always check out my page. Like I don't feel like shoving like links to my Twitter like everywhere, like in every Discord that I'm in. Like it just feels terrible for me to do. And same with like you know, just saying my opinions, which is something I don't do on Twitter either, because that's not what people follow me for. You know, it's almost like with Discords as well, it feels like you're kind of like littering almost. On Twitter, it's like littering on people's timelines, because, you know, I respect the people who follow me, and, you know, if I say like something really dumb on Twitter, like it takes up it takes up their time to read, it takes up their like timeline space. So I don't, especially like because I don't feel like anyone would really benefit from hearing, I don't know, my hot takes on like pretty much whatever. So I try to be
on why they should be playing Quake Duels.
Well, I could make a post about that, yeah, but you know, I guess, you know, I guess if I ever talk about it, it would be in like a stream format where, you know, if people are interested in interacting with me and like asking for, you know, personal stuff and whatnot, like I can talk about it. But I don't know, like social media Discords, it feels like a public space where like I don't want to be yelling what I think all the time, or like anytime really.
Yeah. It was totally understandable, but I'm very happy that you've had overwhelmingly positive experiences with the community so far.
Yeah, I guess like the one thing that I should express is that like I'm very much shielded from all of the bad stuff, because like Hakita, that's also his like blessing and a curse, because like, you know, you see everywhere, oh, you know, it's like it's Hakita's game, he's the only dev, and like, so all of the feedback, especially negative, it like gets directed towards him, and like I think all of the other devs, like, we just get ignored, and I'm really thankful for that. Like people just don't tell me like something is bugged, or, you know, I'm having like this game sucks, etc. You know, like I don't get to hear that, for which I am thankful. So yeah, all of the like everyone in this like tight community, it's like it's incredible how nice people are. I'm really really happy about it.
Now everyone will know you're on the development team.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Well, and so, you know, speaking of how nice of a community all it is, what does ULTRAKILL mean to you now?
Well, that's you know, I guess I can only answer with a lot, because you know, it's really kind of the biggest thing that I have going for me, and I'm really proud to be on it. I'm really proud to be working with the people that I work with. I think our team is fantastic. Everyone does like phenomenal work. We like, there's no kind of arguments. It's like, you know, it's like a very positive experience to work on the game, and especially, you know, like as I've said, with the community, and like you really get a feeling that, yeah, I'm doing something. I'm working on this game, and, you know, having people enjoy that, having people enjoy the like having my artwork like reach out to people. I think that's really awesome. And really much more than the work that I've done. I've met fantastic people. I think, like I've said this before, but Francis and Hakita especially, they've been really supporting me the last few months with like the kind of art struggles that I had, and you know, the issues that I have with working on artwork and stuff like that. And really, like, I couldn't have asked for better people to be working with, hanging out with. I'm really thankful for that. And you know, like, as I've said, it's like, since it's really the first kind of step that I have for game development, it's also arguably the most important one, you know, because without this, you know, there's nothing else in the future. You know, if I sometimes think, like, what would happen if I wouldn't get picked up to work on this game, or if I just, you know, wouldn't reach out to Hakita, wouldn't like push myself out and kind of like start working on this. I don't know, I'd just be probably doing like commissions and be a nobody. I guess I still am, but you know, this thing is like much larger than me, or really, like, it's, I don't want to say larger than the rest of the dev team, but it's like you get a feel that you're working on something bigger than yourself. It's like, it's this like separate entity that people enjoy, and so you kind of, it feels nice to contribute to that.
Yeah, it sounds like it's been quite the journey ever since you started working on ULTRAKILL.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's been what, like 2.5 years at this point, which is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, though. It sounds like it's been an overwhelmingly overwhelmingly positive experience as well.
Yeah, I mean, like, not without difficulties, obviously.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, whatever like difficulties I might have, it's like, obviously, like, deep inside, I'm always thankful for, like, to everyone who interacts with me, who I work with, who's like offering me support, and like, I can only hope to give back with the work that I do, which I hope people enjoy.
Yeah, and I you know, of course, I would assume they do. I certainly do. I think everyone on the dev team, I think all their work is fantastic, and it's come together to create such a fantastic product that isn't even finished yet, which is the craziest part.
Yeah, should probably be, you know, finishing the game rather than you know, doing interviews.
You can take some time away from it. I know. So yeah, I know you talked about, you know, having some struggle just with art in general recently, and recently getting over it as well. But I want to focus on like one particular art piece, I guess, that you've worked on. And I guess, to be more specific, what's the most difficult thing you've created for ULTRAKILL? Like the thing that gave you the hardest time to make so far?
Yeah, well, have to also address the fact that I haven't beaten my inner demons yet, but you know, people are helping me out, Hakita and Francis. So you know, we're kind of working on that, but it's more of like a thing that kind of, the subconscious feeling, like, I don't really want to get into it, but it's this subconscious feeling that kind of like pushes you back and like stops you from kind of like working at your full potential, where your brain is like subconsciously saying like, this is not worth it, you know, like all of the effort that you do is like in vain. Like, even if you do this artwork and it looks good and like people give it likes, like nothing will really change. So it's kind of that, and it's like a difficult problem to solve, and it's like nobody's fault really, but it has been like pushing me back from doing more work. So as for the most difficult thing that I worked on, I guess, you know, like, I can't really single something out. I could say Gabriel, because he had initially like a bit of a different design. If you've seen the concept art for him, you would see that we kind of had like just a different design, and because he's this angel guy, and we have to understand we have to develop their aesthetic. with this character. It was pretty difficult, and eventually after the first design for him, it was like the kind of general sense that I got was, we really have to make him cooler, and like it's always like a really bad sign when you encounter like this line of thinking, because like if you want something to be cool, like you can't just like put sunglasses on everyone and like have them just be cool, right? So it's like I kind of like restarted the design process, and we arrived at where we eventually got with Gabriel's design. And I guess the other part for like the difficult parts are usually like the ones where you don't do a lot of thinking and it's just like a lot of working. So usually it's like a lot of like repetitive and mundane work where the design is kind of solved. There's like nothing really exciting for you to nothing for you to be excited about. It's just like doing orthos. Like orthos for V1 were terrible because like as in like the result of me doing them, because like I could hear the 3D modelers like scream when they saw this because like nothing really lines up. It's like made very sloppily. There's like a lot of details. It's not even true to like the 3/4 view, which I just get a better feeling for the 3D forms in these like non-orthos. And so it's just like hours of work, and you can't really turn your brain off because like you have to watch out for mistakes. So you're in this kind of like really shitty situation where your brain has to be like full active, but you're also like not doing anything engaging really. You're just like executing. Same goes for some of the like visual novel parts, because it's like we were, when we were designing what it would look like kind of with Mirage and like just kind of the aesthetic, we went through. My line work sucks, so the best looking kind of part that we picked was like a painted character, right? So she's like painted in the game, and there's no lines. And when you have to do like 8 or like even 6 poses of like character, and there's like really no kind of substance to that really, it's just you're painting this character in like 6 different poses, and you have to spend like a lot of hours doing that. It's not very exciting, I guess.
Yeah, completely. That makes a lot of sense. And yeah, that's rough work to get done, but unfortunately it is work that needs to get done.
Yeah, so someone has to do it. Yeah. Same with like textures really, because someone's got to do them, so you do.
All right. And on the opposite side of the spectrum, what's your favorite thing that you worked on?
Well, I've actually been thinking about it, and I can't say that I have like this deep personal connection with the art that I create for ULTRAKILL, because it's like I'm realizing Hikita's vision, and it's like he's directing the game. He knows like what's gonna be in it, and like I just kind of execute and follow his feedback for like what he wants. So it's not like if some people have this opinion of like concept art for characters where it's like, oh, you just draw characters you like and they get put into the game, that's cool. But in reality it's like it's just this very by the book kind of process where you eliminate things you don't like, you figure out what you like, and then the final design is just kind of a, I wouldn't say byproduct, but it's like it's the result of just this kind of like of work, like of the design process. It's not something like, oh, I designed V1 with like this in mind, and it was a process. And especially because the characters and the stuff I make for ULTRAKILL, it's not like exactly full of personality, I guess.
Yeah.
Where it's like it's usually like enemies that like nobody really talks apart from Gabriel. So it's this kind of like not a lot of like expressiveness. It's just designs. So I guess to answer your question, I think it would probably be either V1 or Gabriel, because I'm kind of really happy with how they both turned out, and especially with the kind of what fans think of those designs. That's cool. I'm just glad that their designs like resonated with people, and to this day I don't really like understand exactly why, and I usually just kind of chalk it to it's like the game and how it makes you feel. Like that's the effect, not always like just pure visuals, but sometimes it is. And I guess probably like the most favorite thing is the promo art that you see on Steam, and to kind of retread on the same thoughts that I've said before, it's like when I was working on it, it was like kind of this result of a process, yes. And when you arrive at this final illustration, and like when I just started seeing it kind of everywhere, like on Steam, on YouTube, like in the thumbnails, because that's the kind of picture that sells the game, and that's the title art. It stopped, like I didn't have like a personal connection to that. Like it went away really fast from like, hey, I worked on this, to like, this is the game's like visual, like this is the game. It's not like artwork that I made, it's the game kind of feel. And so I feel really happy with how it turned out, in the sense of like, as with like most of my designs, not in the kind of stylistic or like technical sense, but in the sense that I feel like I've done my job well with it, to kind of like deliver to the people what the game is about. So I guess that would be my favorite thing. Yeah,
and I would definitely agree with that. The that piece of promo art is like iconic, I feel, at this point. It's a fantastic piece.
Yeah, I'm happy with how it turned out.
And I personally didn't know that you were the one that drew it, so that's awesome to learn. And
yeah, well,
now everyone else knows too.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Any aspirations for after ULTRAKILL?
Well, I guess like after ULTRAKILL, like we can just kind of change it to aspirations for right now, because I can say that yes, I work on this game, but obviously it's like it's nowhere near like full-time employment or anything like that. I just kind of like, so that people understand the way that I do work. It's like Hikita has an idea, he's like, okay, I want this in the game, and like I designed that, and that's it. And so like I wait for the next message, kind of, right? It's not, we don't have like Trello boards or whatever where like, well, at least I don't, right?
Yeah.
There's with 3 2D artists, especially on the team, it's like there's just not enough work to have it be like full-time or even like part-time really for everyone. So it's more of like aspirations for right now, which I don't know, I guess like the current, like what's on my mind right now is just to kind of get rid of the 2 blocks with the art that I have, which are kind of stopping me or like slowing me down a bit from working, and that's improving my sketch quality and just like being kind of happy with the art that I make, because with the sketches it's like a very kind of convoluted, complex thing to solve, where it's all like feel based, where you feel like this is good and like you try to replicate it and you can't. And so like I'm trying to research that, where I can do sketches of things and have them look nice and not have to, you know, go through the default process of like sketch to line art to like full-blown painting for every single thing that I do for me to like be able to say, yeah, okay, this looks decent, right? And so the second block is just kind of, I've touched on this a little bit before. It's like you a lot of the time, like maybe people can relate to that, which is why I'm saying that. It always, you always have this feeling in the back of your head that no matter what you do, it's like your brain is telling you that it won't get you anywhere. Like whatever art you create, like you just post it and that's it. Like nothing really happens.
Yeah.
So that's like a pretty complex problem to solve. I hope to solve it one day, and I have really fantastic friends who are helping me out. And you know, just kind of, I guess, like the biggest aspiration I have right now is just kind of having some sort of direction or like a stable future ahead where it's not like complete fog, how it used to be pretty much my whole life, where you have no idea what the fuck you're gonna do. And you know, solving that would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, just, you know, having more interesting and cool projects to work on. I guess that would be really awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
It really is.
So for your more personal art, is there any media that your work is inspired by?
Well, that's probably like the broadest question in this whole interview, I feel.
Yeah, and it's I wanted it to be.
Yeah, because you know, subconsciously I feel like everything that I like, it kind of goes into what I create. Like subconsciously, you know, if you let's go back to Quake, for example.
Yeah,
if you shoot with the rail gun, and like I like the feeling of shooting with this gun, and so you try to kind of break down why, and it's like all of the sounds, all of the animation, like the sound cues for when it's ready, etc. And so like you kind of try to break that down, and obviously all of that kind of affects you when you do your own artwork, or like you're kind of related to that game feel. But in more broader terms, I guess we can differentiate inspiration like of art by like three things. At least that's how I would do it, like very broadly. So there's theme, which is like subject matter, like what you're drawing and the feeling that you're trying to give it. So for example, like Persona, it's like high school students, and the kind of feeling is like usually kind of melancholic, and it's like a lot of it is like usually with vibrant colors, and the kind of theme is, I guess, it's like a lot of it is set like kind of fashion photo shoots, that kind of deal. So with theme, I can't answer at all, because you know, this is I do like a lot of stuff, and it's just kind of I draw stuff that I like, that I feel like, and there's no kind of ulterior motive to like, I don't really have like much ideas that I want to deliver to people, or I'm not that kind of like creative person where I just do paintings on a whim. I feel sad today, I feel happy today, and like I'm gonna paint this beautiful landscape that I have in my mind. Like I don't have that. Like it feels like some other people do, where they're very whimsical, and like they're always drawing. They always like have characters that they want to create. They have stories that they want to tell. Like I'm much more practical about this kind of thing. I'm like more about the visuals, where it's like I want to put shapes in an appealing way so that I can be like, my brain can be happy about it. So the second thing that art is, I guess you can like break it down into, is the visual style, which is, you know, just the visuals, how the art looks. And I can list a ton of artists. I'll try to be quite brief with it. I guess like the I have like an entire list that I wrote for myself like a long time ago, just so that I kind of remember it. But off the top of my head, I can mention Drew Wolf and Moby Frank. That's Moby, FRANCKE, and those are ex-Valve guys. They worked a lot on the Dota 2 designs, which I completely adore. And Moby Frank is actually the person who suggested the Lion Decker art like inspiration for TF2. He kind of like pushed that, from what I understand. Like, so, you know, he can be credited to the game having that kind of art style. And obviously, like, you know, if you look at their artwork and then you look at mine, you can kind of clearly tell that I'm trying to emulate the feel that they're going for with their kind of paintings and characters, where it's like really kind of, it's not like realistic, it's like very simple but also very effective. It's hard to kind of express in words, but when, you know, I initially saw these paintings, these like Dota 2 concepts and, you know, Valve stuff in general, I've always felt like, wow, you can make concept art that's not like just photos bashed together. Like, you don't have to render every detail. And so like that's what kind of really inspired me and the kind of artwork that I do, where it's like it's a little bit abstract, and like you just go for like appealing shapes. And like, you know, I guess like a really good piece of advice that I should give to myself and other people, it's like, keep it simple, stupid, because every time you encounter some problem with art, it's like usually because you're overthinking things. Like, you try to over detail stuff, you try to get into it, and like, but in reality, you know, just simplify everything, and that really helps. That makes it look so much more appealing. And for the other character or just artists, I guess, but they mostly do a lot of characters, which is what I do. Luke Mancini, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. He goes by Mr. Jack online. He did a lot of Heroes of the Storm concepts, StarCraft 2. He has really nice streams of him doing artwork, and he pretty much falls into the same field of the guys that I talked about before, of, you know, like simple yet effective. It's like, it's kind of this really pleasant art style that I like. And obviously Paul Richards, fantastic concept artist. He's like, he is so far ahead in like design theory and like things you can do with a pencil on paper. It's incredible. Like, if you ever subscribe to his Patreon, like the theory that he puts out for simple sketches, it is so in depth that, like, I don't know, maybe like 8 people on Earth can understand it, or like actual like apply it. That's how like far he is into that, because he's been doing it for a very long while. And by the way, Paul Richards also has really fantastic resources on concept art and like how to kind of approach that at autodestruct.com. He has like a lot of like theory written, you know, that you can just kind of use as guides if people want that. And you know, there's obviously a lot of other artists that I'm inspired by, but we could take another like 3 hours for that. So I won't. So we won't. And so I guess the third thing that I haven't talked about for inspiration is the design process itself. And for that, I guess, I don't know. I can't say that I'm specifically inspired by someone, but the biggest kind of thing that helped me and like affects my way of approaching designs is reading thoughts from other designers that I like. So for me, it's usually picking up The Art of Persona and reading the interview segments with the art team there. And because like I really have this kind of feel for concept art where I want to do something a bit more interesting. Like it doesn't obviously like always happen, and it's not always the right situation for that, but I really want to go like with something maybe like more abstract or like more like wild, to just kind of ignore the rules almost on certain things. Because if you go to artstation.com and you look at the front page, it's like you will very quick, like especially if you do it daily, you will very quickly get this kind of stale feeling of concept art where it's like it's visually like pleasing, it gets the job done, but it's like yet another space marine rough guy in like a spacesuit for a MOBA that's like on phones or something like that. And like your eyes, they just kind of, they go numb almost like when you look at that. And then you look at designs for SMT or Persona, or like really any Japanese stuff. I'm not really like big into Japanese culture, but I really like their games, and I think they're like very innovative, and like they just kind of have these interesting ideas. Some of them might like flop or like not work, but you can always feel that there's a lot of direction and like a lot of just kind of effort put into all of these things. So for example, the demon designs in SMT, it's like, you see like a hand and it's like, I don't know, it's like, you might think it's like completely gaudy and it's like, it has like a ring or something like that. And like, that's an enemy that you have to fight. And like the hand just kind of slaps you. That's its attack, I guess. And like these designs, they're like, you read about them, and the concept designers who were thinking of these, they put in a lot of like context and effort. Like there's like a lot of nuance to that, right? Where it's like, oh, it's like inspired by this like old legend or like old tale, and like etc etc. There's like actually a ton of like very hidden meanings that you might like not even bother to research, but it certainly raises like a lot of questions when you see it. And like I think it's like if the design like gets your brain engaged and like actually makes you think, then I think that's better than just generic zombie man or something like that, which is very ironic considering what the art that I've made, like the husks and like those shooty guys for ULTRAKILL, but
the shooty zombie people.
But yeah, this is kind of like, at least like, I'm not gonna say that this is something that I do, but I'm really inspired by that line of thinking where, you don't really need to follow rules that much, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's awesome. That was really great to hear about. I actually didn't know that there was like so much, like even with like, simple little hand enemies in SMT, that they're so inspired. I just assumed like, oh, funny little hand, haha.
Well, yeah, but you look at the Persona designs. I'm not talking about like the characters, but like the Persona characters that they have. The powers, and it's like you look at these designs and you're like, there's no way anyone would create this in like a Western studio, right? It would be, it's like abstract. It has like a lot of shapes, but also like like cool fashionable coat or something like that. It's like, and you read about how they come up with these designs and like the kind of the thoughts that went through their head, where I guess I might be like going way too into it, but Izanagi, I think that's the persona of you from Persona 4. So like it kind of gets transformed and improved at the end of the game, and there's like a little detail where the persona's suit, it like changes from like a kind of high school student inspired like jacket to like a more of like a mature kind of look of like a working person or something like that. I'm heavily kind of transforming the story that I read in the interview, but you kind of like, and you don't even think about that when you play, and just to read these thoughts, it's like, wow, these people are putting so much effort into these. It's crazy. So that is absolutely awesome.
Yeah, I can definitely see why you'd take so much inspiration from why that would inspire you so much, because that it is amazing how much thought is actually put into it a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's always like exciting to read about the design process for those.
Yeah, well, it's been quite the interview. I really enjoyed that, and just hearing your thoughts about so much and your experiences and just learning more about who you are. It's been a great time for me.
Yeah, I enjoyed talking about it. I guess I could like spend some time mentioning like whatever advice I have for people who are trying to get into game dev, if you want.
Yeah, we got a little bit into it earlier, but yeah, if you have more you'd like to say, feel free.
Yeah, because I feel like there's like a lot of very creative people in the community, and I've seen the stuff that they make, and the fact that they're a lot of people in the ULTRAKILL community are also kind of like into game dev, like at least from what I've seen, and maybe people can benefit at least from just hearing that. But I feel like in general, for game dev, the best kind of advice that I can give is just to do stuff, right? And put yourself out there. There's like a really good GDC talk, I think, from Chet from Valve. It was like in like some old age, like prehistoric, like 2011, I think. And he like, that's basically what he said is put yourself out there, like finish a product. Like it doesn't matter what you're doing, like just finish that and like ship it and like have like get feedback, iterate on that. And I think a great example of just putting yourself out there and doing like a lot of work is Francis, because he was making a lot of kick-ass artwork for New Blood and like ULTRAKILL specifically, and like he just did like a ton of work and it was great, and people said like, please hire this guy, and New Blood did, and now he's working on our games. So like be like Francis. If the earth was so that everyone was like Francis, like it would be a fantastic place. But on the like art side, I guess, which is what I can kind of maybe talk about a little bit more, because like Hikita can tell you all about how to get started in game dev. I really can't, other than this piece of advice. But on the art side, because I was self-taught and I never really like attended any art schools or anything like that, I guess like I see a lot of people kind of like try to go to college, and they're really not sure of doing it like self-taught. There's like a lot of pressure, and that's absolutely true. I feel like both ways can work. That is like college or self-taught. Obviously self-taught is like slower, but it's an experience, let me tell you. And with college, I guess it's like, yes, you do pay, but you probably have like a better chance of getting a quote unquote real game dev job in like AAA studios and whatnot through an internship. And whatever aids they can like give to the people who study at those schools.
Yeah.
So on the self-taught side, I guess the biggest thing that helped me out was controlpaint.com, and that's the site that I used to kind of pretty much get where I am. If Matt Core, who made this site, and if he like never set out to do that, and if he never made those like awesome, short, brief, like very informative videos on pretty much like every aspect of digital art you have, then I would have never even like started concept art, and I certainly wouldn't be sitting here and talking about it with you. So if you're if you feel like your fundamentals aren't there, and maybe if you feel like you could learn like kind of new techniques, because the stuff that Matt taught me through the videos that he made, it's like priceless. And there are so many techniques that I use daily that he talked about, that I'm so thankful for that.
Yeah.
If he, once again, like if there was no controlpaint.com, I wouldn't be here for sure.
Yeah, and that's controlpaint.com, CTRL paint.com, right?
Yep.
Okay,
yep.
fantastic.
Yes, be sure to buy all of the premium videos as well. They're only $10, but they're worth in gold.
Yeah, well, fantastic. Thank you so much for all of that. That was great. Where can people follow you and keep up with everything you make?
I pretty much have just Twitter. I guess people can check out my ArtStation. Both handles are at Jericho_Russ. Feel free to follow me anywhere or not. Just check out my art and leave a comment saying it sucks, etc. I would be really happy to see those. But yeah, thanks so much for inviting me to this interview. This has been a blast. Obviously love talking about myself. It's the best. I hope I can't attend the event live in person. I will be busy celebrating New Year's at the moment. Of course. But I will definitely be thinking about it. I'll rewatch the VOD of the event. I hope everyone is having a great time. I hope you guys have a fantastic next year of 2022. Let's hope it will be better than what we had this year. So yeah, just wishing you all the best, and thanks again for inviting me, and thanks a lot for setting up this event.
Yeah, and thank you so much for being a part of it. I really appreciate everything you've done. It's been an amazing experience.
Thanks. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you so much.